Okay, we're ready.
Okay, wait a second, I share my screen. Can you see my screen? Can you see the slides?
Yes.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, thank you. Please feel free to interrupt me if there's any problem with the internet connection or something. Hello everyone. In this webinar, I would like to share with you some techniques that I have used in my active learning classroom at Hanoi University. To be clearer, I divide my presentation into three main parts. Firstly, I'll talk about active learning, then some tips to succeed in active learning class will be reviewed, and finally, I'll show you some techniques that I use in my class. Mr. Dukin, the Secretary of Education of the United States of America, said that the factory model for schools is the wrong model for the 21st century, and I totally agree with him. Our world has been changing rapidly. The development of computer and technology make attention one of the most valuable things that many people is seeking for. While we need the attention of our students, there are also many other people out there who want to scramble for this attention. For example, the social networks, games, or YouTube videos, and so on. That is the reason why we need to change in the way we teach the student. We need to create interesting activities in the class to attract students, to engage them more and more in learning. And one of the most effective way is to use active learning. Active learning involves both thinking, feeling, and doing. And according to Professor Mike Truong, a specialist from Azusa Pacific University, active learning in classroom entails students doing meaningful activities, thinking about what they are doing, and understanding its importance. Active learning classrooms contrast with the traditional classroom that are designed here. This is the picture of the traditional classroom that are designed with students facing forward and arranged in rows. In traditional classroom, student sidelines are oriented toward the front of the room, and the lecture to the projection screen and teacher's whiteboard. In the traditional space, students are expected to take notes during the presentation of classroom material. The arrangement of desks in rows is suited to the transmission of information from the instructor to the students. However, the physical constraints of the seating make it difficult to prioritize the student-to-student interactivity. In contrast, active learning classrooms are designed to enhance small group work. In an active learning class, teacher can use a broad range of teaching strategies which engage students as active participants in their learning during class time with the instructor. These teaching approaches range from short, simple activities like journal writing, problem solving, to longer, involved activities, pedagogical framework like case study, role plays, and team-based learning. Um, as you can see, there are some pictures. These pictures were taken from active learning classes at Hanoi University. The design of the classroom is easy to rearrange to make space for different kinds of activities. And we know that a good teaching method requires both careful planning and understanding how to use our active learning classroom as a tool to further student success. So to get started with active learning, there are 5 basic steps to implement in the classroom. Um, the very first one, to start with learning objective. Once you define what you need to achieve, then you can plan how the space can have, and you can choose meaningful activities you are going to use in the class. At first, I think it may challenge to move from the traditional passive method of teaching to more student-centered method that empowers learners to be more engaged and involved in the skill development process. So how do you use the classroom space to turn the challenges into opportunities for learning? Um, the answer is the second step, which is the second one, to use multiple pedagogies. Instead of the room that has one setup typically suitable for teacher delivery model, consider the active learning classroom. Lesson plan continues to focus on specific concepts, but can now be complemented with multiple exercises to engage students in the lesson. While lecture or presentation mode may continue to kickstart a learning adventure, it can easy to follow by directing students to move to a different learning mode to assess content. There are peers and the instructor to support learning. The third step is to intensively make use of the digital tools and analog tools in a classroom to support the lesson. The variety of tools, choice of place to work, and range of people to network with are very empower an individual. The, these tools allow you and students to share critical information. And the next is to set to get in start uh, get increase sets the between the instructor and the student. No matter the setup or mode that you choose, everyone need the kind of access to foster trust and confidence in sharing idea. Your active learning class allow you to shift the role from the transmission of information to that of helping create a learning environment, the kind your student can construct their own knowledge and learning. And you are now free to move around the classroom and support a much closer and deeper connection to your student. One final tip is to to use the professional network to share your experience, to share your concerns and your questions. Um, that's it. Some tips I think to be more successful in an active learning classroom. And now I will share some popular techniques that I used in my active learning class at the Hanoi University. The very first one here, there are about 10 techniques that I would like to share today. The first one is think, pair, share. It means you provide students time and structure for thinking on a given topic and enabling them to formulate individual ideas and then share these ideas with a peer. It is the fact that some students feel safer and more relaxed when talking in small groups rather than having to speak in front of the entire class. So the think pair share activity gives them the opportunity to feel more comfortable sharing their ideas, sharing their thoughts. The second technique that I use is concept expert. This technique uh, also requires students to work in groups, like think pair share. But the difference is that one student you require one student response for reading some part of the concept or reading this concept, and another student reading another concept. And after some minutes, they get together and share or compare what they've learned. By reading the concept and then explain to others, students are able to understand the idea deeper, kind of enhance their understanding by the concept. Um, the third one is to brainstorm a solution. This one is just simple. I give my students some problems and require them to work together to find different ways, at least two or maybe more solutions to solve the problems. Um, the third one is this fill in the blank game. I try to um, create a game when, for example, when my student have to remember some theory like the terms and the definition, and it may bored and difficult to remember, then I create a fill in blank games and allow my students to work in group. Each group compete with the others to find the answers in the shortest times. And I think it better to it will help them to remember the terms and the concept. It's easier to remember the terms and the concept with the definition. The next one, the number 5 is to summarize. Give a concept. In this to use techniques, I will give a concept to my student and require them to read the concept in some minutes to try to understand it, and then summarize in their own words. Rewrite the concept in their own words, and I may limit the number of words, like 10 or 15 words. So it will be harder, right? When you limit the number of words, it's a little bit harder. The sixth is to analyze a picture. This technique is the most popular, the most frequently used for me. I will give a picture show a picture to my student and ask, what does this picture make you think? What do you feel about this? Or can you find a hidden message from this picture? For example, the picture that you can see here, when I teach system analysis and design, and when I want to raise my students' awareness of the problems or the risks associated with requirement collection. I will show this one. I'll show this picture. At first, my purpose is just to describe these four pictures, just you to describe the misunderstanding between the customer and the developer. But it's amazing that when I showed this picture to my student, they they could find about four hidden messages. For example, as I said that from picture number one, the problem here is the customer cannot explain their idea clearly. From that is the problem number one. Problem number two, with requirement collection, from picture number one to picture number two, the customer add more requirements while the project is going on, and from picture number two to picture number three to the final picture, the someone said that, yeah, the developer misunderstand the idea of the customer, and someone said that, yeah, he's understand the idea of the customer, but finally his ability is limited, and he cannot transform the expectation, the requirement into the expected system. And I think so all of these ideas are correct. It's a very good, just from analyzing these pictures. And this one can have, not only have students to more engage in the learning activities, but also have them to feel relaxed, because you can take advantage of funny icons or funny picture while still giving the hidden message through the pictures. The seventh one is to make a metaphor. This one, you will give a concept or some terms, and require students to think of a metaphor for this concept, or think of something to compare it with. For example, when I teach object-oriented programming, when I explain some terms like what is glass, what is the object, then I ask my student to compare glass with a real world thing that you know. Then they some students told me that, yeah, the glass is like a building blueprint, and I think, yeah, that's correct. It's correct, and it's also help them to understand the definition, the terms clearer. The next one is case scenarios. Case scenario. This one is also the one that I use frequently. I will create a case scenario. It can be a real world problem, or it can be something that I invent. Then I will use handouts to deliver the scenarios to my student and require them to work in group. Then they will discuss some follow-up questions or something related to the case scenarios. For example, this is a scenario that I used when I taught entity relationship diagram, and I show this scenario to my student and require them to read it carefully, then work in group to identify entity, attributes, and relationship between entities, and then create the entity relationship diagram. After they finished, okay, I require them to work together again to find ways to enhance the ERD, and draw the enhanced entity relationship diagram. So this is one example. The next one is the exit ticket. Number 9 is exit ticket. An exit ticket is essentially a student's ticket out the door, assigned at the end of the day, or at the end of a class period. For me, I always assign at the end of my lecture or my tutorial. Exit tickets require students to demonstrate something they have learned or to process some part of the day's lesson. Exit tickets serve as a great tool to check for understanding and collect formative assessment data. The data they give the teacher can be invaluable and allow teacher to plan for necessary intervention or enrichment, or simply to guide the next lesson. And the 10th one, this is also a very kind of interesting thing is to use. That's a multiple choice question, but it's not the normal multiple choice question using pens and paper or using the kind of word file. I use Kahoot. I use Kahoot and I create multiple choice questions. Then I choose about 20 questions to build a game. To build a game. That's a small game, and all students will join the game and read the question and try to give the answer. As you can see here, student will. This is the screen that the student can. The picture number 1 is the screen that the student will see. They read the question on the projector and choose the answer here. They have to choose the correct answer in a short. Try to choose the correct answer in the shortest time, and the result of the point, they will get the point based on the time and the correctness of the answer. This one is it helps students to review the knowledge and also relax, because it really funny to play this game with students in a very in a class with many students. This one is very it's interesting. And there are several other methods, other ways to engage your student in the classroom. For example, deconstruct an argument. This one, you will ask your student what are the flaws or holes in this argument. The next is to recite something together. You require your student to recite something together out loud or from the memory. So it is a way to have them remember the concept or remember something easier. But it's only suitable for the recite something out loud together, only suitable for the theory. Or you can show a video clip. Or you can require your student to create a test question. After your student understands something, you can require them to create a question, try to make the question as difficult as possible, and later give the question to the other student, and that way they have to have one student when they understand and they can create the question, so they can remember the knowledge. They can apply the knowledge to make a question, and the other student, when answering the question, they also understand the thing deeper and clearer. Or you can use shared document. You can take advantage of some tools like Google Document and require students to write the questions or comment after the class. And one more thing that you can use at the end of the class is the biggest takeaway. At the end, one student will tell the others about the biggest takeaway or the one that they remember most that they learned from the lesson today. And that brings me to the end of my presentation. And I think that there are many other things that I want to share, but because the time is limited, so I think I will stop here. And thank you very much for listening. Do you have any question?
Yes, thank you for your presentation. Nice list of interesting methods. I just have one question. You mentioned the exit ticket.
Yeah.
How do you evaluate the exit ticket when you have time to let's say, let them out?
Yeah, I require my student to write the essay ticket on a piece of paper, and then I collect that paper. And yeah, I will let them out, and at home I will read and analyze their answer. And at the in the next class I will review if something is wrong, or if something that I need to explain more, so they can understand, the lesson, the previous lesson better.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I thought that you don't let them to leave the classroom if before everything is correct on this exit ticket. I believe this could work if the group size is small. What is the normal size of your class? How many students you have usually?
The normal size of the class that I use as a ticket is about 10 to 15 students.
Okay, yeah, and my general impression is that the active learning methods work very well if the group is smaller. If you try to use same methods, for example, 50 or 100 students, then, well, you spend a lot of time for reading and providing feedback.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. If the number of students is, I think it's more than the number of students, about more than 20 students, then SAT is maybe a problem for instructor, because you have a lot of tickets to read at home. So I think it's suitable for a small class or small group of students. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Nguyet. I would like to ask, if the class was larger in size, how would you adapt this so that it works for a larger number of students?
Yeah, for a larger number of students, I usually use something like a think, pair, share, or case scenarios. Because there are many different techniques. So based on the size, I will use I will not use everything for all the class. I just try to use the things that's suitable. For a larger group, I will use like this one, the case scenario. This one, if the class is quite large, it's still suitable. I still can apply this one in the large class. Or this one, the make a metaphor or analyze a picture. When analyze a picture, I may ask some student. Every student will analyze picture, but I just ask some student, and so on. Does it does it satisfy you?
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions, please? Or any other comment to help me improve my methods and
I think what you presented us is great and a different perspective. So very useful for all of us who are trying to use some new methods in the classroom.
Thank you very much.
And any other questions? Okay, if there are no other questions, I think we can close this session. Thank you very much, Nguyet, for this presentation. Thank you very much. Well, and,
Thank you, Harikla, for hosting this one and for giving me a chance to share my experience with our partners. Thanks everybody for takes your time to spend your time to listen to my presentation. Thank you very much.
thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.